Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com.
I became a wife in 1990. And I remember the books that were being put out then. I remember, and it was all about, we are here to serve our husbands. We are here to serve our kids. Anything that is focused on ourselves is selfish. I cannot believe the number of Christians who believe that self-care is selfish.
Have you ever just fallen immediately in love with someone? You know what I'm talking about. Somebody that you're just like, this is it. Like, we're buds. I know it. This is the AllMomDoes podcast. I'm Julie Lyles Carr, and this is part of the Purposely Podcast Network. And this is someone that the first time we had her on the show, I was like, deep calls out to deep. Or maybe shallow to shallow. I mean, maybe that's what we are, Kathi. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm over romanticizing this. But y'all, Kathi Lipp is on the show today. And if you have ever wondered how to unclutter your house and your head, if you've ever wondered what it means to get rest, if you've ever wondered what it means to be really intentional about making your life a little more peaceful and a little more thoughtful, Kathi, she's your gal, but she's going to do it with a lot of humor and a lot of fascinating insight. Kathi, I'm so glad you're here today.
I've been called shallow before, but never in a way that I'm like, why? Yes, that is me. Thank you. May I have another?
In the deepest way. I mean that.
In the deepest way. I love it. Julie, I'm so grateful to be back with you. And you and I were already setting up our next time to chat. So that the feeling is very mutual, my shallow friend.
Oh, I love it. You are like a good old B12 shot in the right cheek. I mean, that is just how I think of you. Come away, dopamine levels higher, everything. It's just amazing.
Can I just tell you, I am of a certain age where I had to get my shingles shot.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband had to take me out for a treat afterwards.
Yeah.
Because that puppy is no joke. And I'm glad you're not of an age for it. But when you are, just know you're going to need that. And then we went right to the supermarket and I got one of those little mini cupcake. Well, I got a tray of them, let's be clear, but I got to eat one of those mini birthday cupcakes in the car in the parking lot. Cause ouch, that thing hurts.
That seems right and fair that should be the follow-up. I think that's probably doctor prescribed if we really thought about it.
Absolutely. Treats are important.
Treats are very important. Mm-hmm. Well, it is a treat to be with you. See what I did there?
I love it.
I am just I'm always in awe of the world that you have built for yourself, one predicated on your love for God and this beautiful place of creating places, literal physical places for community surrounding writing and rest and self-care and all of these things. What about you? What about your experience and your history drove you to a place that you became so passionate about creating these respites in the midst of daily life?
What a crazy smart question. I love this so much. Well, you may know a little of my backstory, but some people don't, that my dad was a hoarder. And so there was always a lot of stuff around us. And by the way, I am not a minimalist. People will call me that. I'm like, no, that I'm a maximalist. I do love stuff, but I love stuff with purpose and with places. Like everything has to have a place, and it sounds way more organized than I actually am. But that, my day job is Clutter Free Academy, and we just talk about our stuff, which is really, the New Testament talks about our stuff a lot. It talks about it, stuff and money more than anything else.
Yeah.
And so I knew that Jesus knew this could be a trap for us. And so I didn't feel growing up that I could have people to my house. I didn't feel that I could have, there was never a place to sit without moving something. And I wanted that. I longed for that kind of place, but I didn't know how to do it. And so I've spent a lot of my adult life figuring out how to create these spaces that don't make people feel uncomfortable or feel uncared for or feel unloved. And I give a lot of credit to my mom. She really tried, but my dad was a force and, just a tornado. And so in my house, I like to have spaces. Now, when it comes to my little spaces like my desk, I, you know, again, maximalist, but I you can come into my house and not feel awkward. It's not going to be too clean where you're like, oh, I can't even sit down. It's not going to be fussy, but it's also, you're not going to have to push aside piles to sit down and feel comfortable. And the stuff is part of that. The food is part of that. And the people are part of that.
What I love about the way you teach and the ideas and techniques and tools that you equip people with is it comes from a place of saying, wow, I had this problem that I had to fix. Because
Yeah.
my listeners heard me say this before, Kathi. I probably say it way too much on this podcast, but God almost always provides me with a friend who came with the download chip about just like they've always been tidy, orderly. They easily get things over to Goodwill. They can walk in a room and know exactly where something should go for the greatest amount of, efficiency and all the things. And, usually that friend lives, down the street from me. And I, on a weekly basis, have to walk in and go, why? Why does it always look like House Beautiful in here? And what is this doing to me down at the other house with 8 million people living in it and cast off animals and all the things? And so there's a beauty in learning from you because it didn't come naturally to you. This was hard gained stuff that you had to walk through. I have a friend who's been on the podcast before. She's amazing. She owns an estate sale business here in the Austin area. She always is equating stuff with our spirituality because she gets to be in the weeds and see what it's really like. Kathi, one of the things that I've thought about a lot recently, because I've been through now working through my in-laws' home when they passed, my mom and dad, my grandmother, like all the stuff of a generation that did a good job taking care of all their stuff and acquired a lot of stuff.
Right.
What are you hearing from your people, your audience who are coming to you going, oh, I was already struggling with my stuff, but now I got all this other stuff that I don't know what to do. And, people who were instilled with a value of good stewardship and taking care of things, how hard it can be to release. What are some things that you can say to that listener today who's like,
oh my goodness,
what do we do?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, I have to remind my audience that let's just say your parents, let's keep it simple. Your parents' stuff was not them. And a lot of people really struggle with, if I get rid of their things, I'm dishonoring them. And your parents who loved you dearly and hopefully were really healthy, your healthy parents did not want you to become burdened with their stuff. And so to be able to release that, to be able to donate it, to be able to say, I think about when I became a single mom and did not have what I needed. That 1970s crock pot would have been such a gift to me, instead of you taking it and having a backup crock pot for your backup crock pot. Nobody needs that, right? And so some of when we are emptying out a house, what we are doing is saying, hey, that person who is struggling, donating the food that was in the house, donating the furniture. For a lot of us, that was our starter. And maybe your kids want it, or maybe they don't. Maybe they say, you know what? Lots of our kids, and my kids are older than your kids, are saying, I want less stuff. And so I love the idea of your friend who does estate sales and is repurposing. That is great for a lot of people. Other people are like, I just don't want the stuff. And they are not rejecting their grandparents. They're just rejecting some of the ways that they live because maybe they feel overburdened by that. So it's okay if you want some of that stuff, and it's okay if you don't. We have to honor the way that people are living today. And it's very, very different. Trying to get rid of China, trying to get rid of those kind of things. That's not how most people live anymore. And there are some people who love it. And there are some people, we have to understand that feels like a burden to them. And to not burden your kids with they shoulds or they need to, or it's a sign of respect to say, when my grandmother passed, I took like 3 items of hers, and it's a pair. I can name them all. It was an apron that she wore when she was cooking. It was her recipe box and some Art Deco earrings. And you know what? That is enough. I love
Right.
my grandmother. And when I see those things, they make me happy, and it's enough. And enough is okay.
Yeah, yeah, to call it when you can. I mean,
Mhm.
we are still going through processing out a lot of this stuff and letting go. And then
Right.
weird stuff. I will say too, when you're in the
Yeah.
process of that overwhelm of trying to go through
Yeah.
things and you keep weird stuff and you think, what was this?
I'm dying to know, what's one of the weird things?
Oh, girl, I gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So I remember when my mother went to this store in Huntsville, Alabama,
Mhm.
and she got her a chignon. Now, this was what today is like the long, fake ponytail looking thing,
Okay,
but you could wrap
I
it.
know she's not talking about hair.
Oh,
You
yeah,
are
girl.
talking about hair.
So she went to this store and bought this expensive, chignon hairpiece. And I knew it was expensive because when I was little, we talked about it and we were never supposed to play with it. It was never one of those things like in the dress up box or wherever.
Yes.
Kathy, I'd not seen that thing in easily 45 years when I went to clear her house. And there it was, the chignon in a shoebox and the minute I opened the box, the scent of it, like the powder that you would put on it to treat it
Yes.
and everything. I have just yet once again, Kathy, moved it from a shelf out in the garage to a shelf up in the attic. What am I doing? I have so few memories of her even wearing that thing, but for some reason, that became something that came home with me. And I'm like, what do I
Oh
do
my goodness.
with this little? I mean, if you opened it, you would think it was a small animal nesting in the bottom of the shoebox.
All I can picture is Cousin It from the Addams Family.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Oh
much.
my goodness.
Yeah. Bless
So
my heart.
what do you think you're going to do with it? Like, my first thought is there a drama, a theater group that
See,
could use something like that?
I need
Or,
to really dig in. Yeah.
yes. Oh my goodness.
So that would be
What a
one.
wild thing. Yes.
That'd be one. The other one was the hair dryer, the bubblegum pink hair dryer that I sat under
Yeah.
as a kid when my mom would put my hair in rollers.
Yes.
And it smells like dilapidated petrochemical plastic that's, coming apart, but it's like got
Julie.
such a cool design. I
Julie.
need an intervention, Kathy.
Julie.
Tell me in love. Tell me in love.
I'm going to hold your hand while I say this.
Okay.
You might have to wear that chignon if you catch your own hair on fire in the hair dryer.
See, now I'm prepared. Also, you mentioned the 1970s crock pot. That is also in the garage.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But you know what? Okay, here's the thing that I know for sure. When it goes directly to your garage, it's not something you love or care about. There are people who are dying for those 1970 crock pots. They collect them. It would bring them such joy.
Yeah.
But you are not one of those people.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I like all my Drew Barrymore appliances.
Are those good?
You're right.
I've seen them, but are they good?
I like them.
Okay,
and they're
good
pretty.
to know.
They're pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, that just shows, again, we're back to the shallow. Sorry. They're pretty.
It's okay.
I got
you're
grandma's
allowed
crock pot, but I got Drew Barrymore's air fryer. What can I say?
You know what? And I'm happy for you and Drew and the relationship you've established.
Thank you. We've really forged that.
But and also, can I just say, it's okay to bring some of your parents' stuff home and let go of it in stages. It's okay.
And I will say that's actually part of the arc that I've noticed.
Yeah.
Is there are things that over time, because grief's a tricky thing, right? And
Grief
there's a
is a tricky
mitigation
thing.
process sometimes with our stuff that allows us to sort of manage the grief flow. I know that sounds strange, but there are things that
it's so true.
You can't do right at first, but a couple, 3 years down the line become a marker that, okay, like I'm moving through this process. And I notice it for me with certain things I'm able to release over time. Now, I tell you another area, Kathy, that I need your intervention.
I can't wait.
Okay. I do love to entertain. I really do. And I have managed to make entertaining and cooking and hospitality also super complicated.
Oh,
It's like I can't
okay.
help myself.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm starting to move past, you're going to be really proud, feeling like I have to have the dishes for every occasion thing. Like I've
Okay.
always had white
Good.
dishes. I've
Yes. Of
always had
course.
that. But then I
Yes.
like added all the thematic,
I know.
I
I
don't know
know.
I know.
I know.
So, but I also, if I'm going to have somebody over, I make it complicated. Like I bust
Okay.
out the big cookbooks and all the things. And
Right.
when I saw that my clutter free queen had come
Mm-hmm.
up with some ideas for actually making hospitality and feeding the family and all the things what
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to be, which is
Mm,
this relaxing, lovely, engaged time
mm.
instead of what I've done, which is to try to create an episode of Food Network and like it's a competition. I was so encouraged. I hadn't, we
Oh,
talk about hospitality being a spiritual gift. I had
right.
not realized how I was shooting myself in the spiritual foot
Okay.
by creating stress around what's supposed to be a beautiful gift to offer and making it
Mm.
really hard to engage. So, talk me through
Yeah.
why, as our clutter free queen, you
Yeah.
came up with this idea for going, hey, let's take a pause. Let's talk
Yeah.
about having soup on Sunday and just calming
Yes.
the heck down. So talk to me about this.
Okay. So, first of all, if you're a cluttery person, you love a good purchase, a guilt-free purchase. And I'm going to give you one in a second. And it's not a sneaky way to promote my book, I promise. This is other stuff that I feel like is a guilt-free purchase. But I I wanted to have Sabbath. I wanted to have a day off where I could rest, relax, hang out with God, hang out with my family, just be thankful for what I have. And so I worked really hard when my kids were at home to make sure that everybody had that. But, we can choose sometimes not to work on a Sunday. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a firefighter, thank you for working on Sunday. I really, really appreciate it. But, most of us get that choice. We can choose not to mow the lawn on Sunday. What we're not choosing, most of us, is to not eat on Sunday. Like these people still wanted to eat. And so I was still cooking up a storm on Sunday because I wanted it to be special, but I was exhausted. And
Yeah.
so finally I just said, I'm going to cook something on Friday or Saturday that we can pull out after church and keep it simple. And for me, that was soup because soup is magical. You cook it on Friday and it tastes better on Sunday. I do not know how soup does that, but like today, I am cooking my tomato gin soup for my friend who had surgery on Tuesday. I said, "What can I make for you that's going to make you feel loved?" And she goes, "I want your tomato gin soup." And Julie, if your audience would like that recipe, I will be happy to shoot it over because I it's so good. I had a soup like this in Arizona at the White Chocolate Cafe, and I'm like, I'm finding a way to recreate that, and I did.
Yeah.
So, uh, I cook that on Friday or Saturday, and then on Sunday, we get home after church. I've either put that in a crock pot and it's waiting for us. Or when I get home from church, I'm just going to pull the soup crock out of the fridge and put it directly on the burner. And that's what we're having for lunch. It's no effort. It is zero effort. I might have a baguette. I might make a bag salad, but I promise you that is as much effort as I'm going to go to. And I get to reclaim a few hours on Sunday. And then I
Mhm.
started building out, I don't want to cook Sunday dinner either. And so I just decided Friday or Saturday, I'm making a lasagna or making chicken enchilada casserole or making something that my whole family is going to like. Nobody's going to fuss over. It's done. And then so then I thought, I'm building it out backwards. Saturday night, we usually like to have somebody over or we like to do something fun that night. And so that's kind of our big meat meal, like a roast chicken, a pot roast. And so if I did all of this on Friday or Saturday, did those 3 meals, and then I kind of repeated those meals on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm done with cooking for the week.
Cha-ching. Yeah.
Thursday, we're going to have Trader Joe's is going to cater us.
Yeah.
And Friday, we're having some kind of pizza. And if you're in Aldi, most of us are either Trader Joe's or Aldi's. Like,
Right.
I'm jealous of the Aldi's people, but I'm grateful that I'm a Trader Joe's person. And it just built out. It started with Sabbath and taking that one day off, and it built out to saying, I'm getting most of my cooking done for the week just at that time. And it's such a gift.
You know what I love about this principle is both the idea of taking truly a day, a Sabbath, to be that. There's a girl that I follow on TikTok who's Orthodox Jew. And
I know. It's Melinda.
I love watching all the things about Shabbat and what she
Yes.
does. And it's been one of those things. I'm like, man, this is such a beautiful thing. And it also has struck me how intentional you have to be, whether you're celebrating Shabbat or you're taking a Sabbath time to lead up to that, which is part of the message I think that I didn't get as, someone who was raised in a Christian home where we didn't do certain things on Sunday because our church didn't like us to, but it wasn't the intentionality of I am going to set myself up for successful rest. Like I didn't get that message somehow. And in your messaging and watching this gal on TikTok, it is so fascinating to think, part of the reason that I find myself stressed and spending and all the things is because I, for some reason, think that the preparation for that is just getting everything done on my to-do list. It's not about what I would do for someone else. Like if somebody was coming to my house and they were stressed, I would have a bubble bath ready for them, and I would have the chocolates, and I would have the guest bed all made up. Like I know how to prepare to make someone else successful to distress.
Yeah.
I'm not so good at it for myself, which is what I love about the Kathi Lipp soup principle, because I feel like that's really the undergirding of this, all of that. Now, I think you have gorgeous recipes. The book is gorgeous. Guys, please go take a look at this gorgeous book, because you're going to be inspired both by the recipes and by what Kathi has to say in terms of wisdom. That's what I find so compelling underneath this is you're really teaching us how to create rest in a variety of ways through a vehicle of delicious soup. But I love how you reverse engineered it for yourself to realize what was up. That's amazing.
Julie, if Melinda is the person that you watch on TikTok, if she's the one with the curly hair and the great glasses, she is part of the inspiration to this book.
Okay.
Because I just thought it was something weird I did, and I knew a little. I have a Jewish friend, so I know a little bit about their custom, but I thought this is something that so many of us need, and that I grew up the same way. Sabbath, or Sunday was don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. If you do this, you're a bad Christian. And instead of looking at it as the gift that God said it was and saying, how do I experience this gift? And now not every Sunday is us spent at home, eating soup around the table. Some Sundays we're out doing something fun. Some Sundays we're driving to Tahoe and, hanging out. Some Sundays we're gardening because we want to do that, not because we have to do that. And to think about, when the Bible says Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. It's not, I wanted to reframe it for myself and for those I love as look at this gift. And I really saw that in a lot of the creators I follow on TikTok who are Jewish, who say, this is the best day of our week, because it's interrupting the rhythm. And when you go to somebody else's house and they run the bubble bath and they put out the chocolates and they fluff the bed, it's an interruption to your routine. And that's what I want Sabbath to be for us. It's a resetting. It's a gift.
Thank you to our sponsor, George Fox University. George Fox University is unique. It is a Christ-centered, student-focused university where your student is going to be appreciated for the individual they are, the learning style, and the goals that they have, while also keeping focus on their relationship with Christ. I want you to go check it out at georgefox.edu. Again, that's georgefox.edu. Thanks so much for being our sponsor, George Fox. Kathi, you've tapped into something too that I think I have encountered from time to time, sometimes practiced. Lately, I really think I'm getting better at it, I think, which is the principle of how we care for ourselves. And by that, what I mean is this. There are things that I would do and I do for others that I'm trying to take on a posture now of saying, you know what? If I leave my bed made a certain way and I tidy my bedside table a certain way, I'm giving myself a gift later this evening. When my brain's tired, when I need to wind down, I'm going to walk in and this is going to feel so relaxing. And I've actually gotten in a little bit of a habit of saying, thank you, future self or past self, whoever did whatever, and receiving it just like I would from a friend, that I would appreciate it the same way that I would from a friend.
Yes.
And that has been transformational a couple ways, because it brings me these little moments of Sabbath in the midst of things when I take the time to go ahead and do something ahead of time that I'm starting to realize is going to bless me later.
Yeah.
And it also makes me reflect, and I don't mean this in any kind of self-aggrandizing way, but I think for any of us out there who naturally feel like we're helpers and we love gift giving and all that kind of a thing, we can so often be waiting for someone to do that for us to feel loved, which of course I love it when someone loves me that way. But why not take care of myself in that way and appreciate that is the kind of person I am? And again, I don't mean it in a self-aggrandizing way. I just mean it's so like, I'm like, look at me. That was really sweet of me to do for myself.
But, Julie, can I go a little deeper on that? Yeah. Why we don't do that? I became a wife in 1990. And I remember the books that were being put out then. I remember, and it was all about, we are here to serve our husbands. We are here to serve our kids. Anything that is focused on ourselves is selfish. I cannot believe the number of Christians who believe that self-care is selfish.
Right.
And we're supposed to work out. We're supposed to eat healthy. But lighting a candle, like, oh, that's just a step too far.
Right.
Like that we treat our bodies as if they are only in service to others and only in service to God. And I also want a body that takes care of me in 5 years, 10 years. And I want to experience comfort and joy. And I do not believe that is selfish. I think, if I was, I don't know, I hate to even define what selfish is, because what selfish would look like for me would be self-care for you and vice versa. And I don't see a lot of men arguing about this on the internet, but I see women arguing about it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love that I cook soup on Friday. Sometimes I share it. I often share it with one of my neighbors, but I'm also taking care of myself.
Taking care of your future self, yeah.
I would fluff pillows for my dog. Why would I not fluff pillows for myself? Why is taking a bubble? We have got this so twisted.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have got it so twisted. And I think God cares about our comfort and joy. And it's not at the expense of others. I think selfishness is taking away from others. And when we say, I'm going to light that candle, or I'm going to eat that dark chocolate, or I'm going to cook soup so that on Sunday I can take a nap. I think that is everything that God was intending for Sabbath. I really, really do. There's not a list of all these things we're supposed to be doing on Sabbath that is for other people. It's this reclamation of time and space. And it's a gift. And it's a gift that we don't have to earn. We don't have to work out. We don't have to do, God is very plain about it, and I'm very grateful for it.
I love how you've put feet to the concept, because this is something that even if you feel like if you're in a season of life, oh, I can't do XYZ for
Mm-hmm.
self-care, the
Mm-hmm.
budget, the age of the
Right.
kids,
Yeah.
issues in the marriage, whatever is going on. I get
Right.
it. Sometimes I would get those lists and I would think, who is coming up with this stuff?
Right.
Like, and where can I get their budget?
Right. Somebody who has staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
And so I love that this is something, look, for many of us, whoever is the cook in your house, whether it's you, whether it's your spouse,
Right.
whatever's going on, the forethought and the simplicity of this to give yourself a future gift, to think ahead a little bit, and to intentionally say, I'm not gonna haunt the kitchen on such and such day for the purpose of being kind to myself, which helps me be kind to others, which helps me love myself, which helps me love others. Something so practical. I would say other things that maybe we add to the soup principle. Is there something in your house that's really hard to take care of and it's fussy and on and on and on? Maybe it's time to get rid of it. You know, what are the things that we are putting ourselves through unnecessarily that do cost us in time, effort, thought, irritation? What are things that you're engaged in that are frankly irritating but not necessary? Why are we doing that? I finally, Kathi, after years of being in vocational ministry and needing to be on the platform and all that kind of stuff, I finally have started ditching all the shoes that are so cool looking but hurt so bad for so many years. Same as the stuff that I used to wear when I was in television. I'm like, why am I hanging on to this stuff? And honestly, to let go of those irritations that aren't necessary, to wear something that feels good, to wear shoes that are comfortable, to eat soup on a Sunday. I mean, isn't that a beautiful expression of what God has for us, what we would want for our own kids?
Yes. And okay, I'm going to go a little deeper here.
Please do.
Who told us those shoes were the most beautiful? Maybe they are, but you know, I love my feet too much to ever wear high heels again. I really do. They have served me well, but they have problems and plantar fasciitis, and because I have tried to live up to somebody else's idea of what is appropriate. For many, many years, I thought if I really loved God, I would work for him 7 days a week. And it was not God's idea. I let somebody do yes and to God's word. And I'm not going to do that anymore. To say what is appropriate for me and the people I love. Yes and no. I'm going to love on people. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to honor God. And I can do that all with, a day where it says, thank you, God, for everything you've provided. Here's how I love my people, and here's how I take care of myself.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I know you've got to go in a little bit, but I have to hear in this book, what are the top 3 soups I need to make first? I want to hear, I want you to take this down to the essence for me.
Okay. So I would definitely say the tomato gin soup.
All righty. I'm writing it down.
Is a banger. It's a banger, my friend.
Okay.
Then I'm going to give you one that's not in the book, but so I have a little free booklet on Amazon. It's called Soups On.
And I love that. Okay.
Because we had too many soup recipes to put, too many recipes to put in this book, and they cut out 4 weeks worth of meal plans. So if you go to Soups On, it's totally free. And in there is my cream of chicken and wild rice soup. And friend, let me tell you, friend. Oh, it's wonderful. And then I also have a white in the book Sabbath soup, a white bean chicken chili.
Okay.
Now my chili recipe, my straight up chili recipe is also, it's classic. Somebody said, this is the best compliment I can give you. It's like Wendy's chili. And I'm like, okay, you assure me that's a compliment. And then I had Wendy's chili. I'm like, it's kind of banging. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's bussin'. Okay. So, the white bean chicken chili, amazing, but also just the straight up chili you're going to love. And let me give you one of my favorite little hints for all this, taking care of your future self, because these are big, hearty soup recipes, right? And you might I have soup Sunday afternoon and Tuesday, and sometimes we still have leftovers. There is a product called, I told you I was going to tell you a couple of things as cluttery people like to buy things. So a couple of things. It's called Super Cubes. And
I've seen
have
these.
You seen those? Love those.
Yes.
Also, 2 Ninja products that are just changing my life right now.
Okay.
There's the Ninja, oh my goodness. It's called the Ninja Cooker, I think it is. Anyway, it's a crock pot that has like 7 different functions.
Okay.
And you can like when I do my live soup demonstrations on my Facebook page, I'm doing them all in one pot. Like I love anything that is one pot.
One thing to clean.
I can saute the bacon in there, and then it turns into a crock pot to keep things warm. It's like a soup pot, saute, crock pot, all in one. I love it.
Nice.
And then the Ninja Foodie air fryer. It's like an 8-in-1 tool. It's on sale right now at Costco. I get nothing from the Ninja Corporation. I just love to let people know
their stuff. Yeah.
And let me just tell you, their air fryer is the best thing. It's called the Flip. It flips up on your counter, so it takes up very little space.
Oh, nice.
I love it so much. And it's very accurate temperature wise. You're not going to burn your food, which I love.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's really helpful. I love that. Well, the book is absolutely gorgeous. Sabbath Soup, Weekly Menus and Rhythms to Make Space for a Day of Rest. It is so beautiful. I'm so thrilled for you about this. Where can the listener go? Now, we're going to have all this stuff in show notes, but I also want you to tell us where are the best places to find you and all the stuff when it comes to doing this.
Okay. Sabbathsoup.com. You can get all that stuff there. It's available on Amazon. And right now Amazon is really cheap. Yeah. Like they've got it for a third off. So perfect. I don't know if it will when this goes live, but right now that's what it is. And, but you can find me anywhere. Kathi Lipp, KATHILIPP on Instagram, Facebook. Come hang out with me. We love it. The last thing is we have a free decluttering group. If that is something you're struggling with, it's called Clutter Free Academy on Facebook. Come find us, answer the questions. We'll let you in. And we are the nicest people in the world.
Yeah, I need to get over there and figure out what she is, my Shignon. So I think I'm going to come see y'all. Well, Kathi,
it sounded like you were going to say something else right there.
I know.
Find out what you're going to do.
Watch that editor. Yeah. Shignon's going to become code for some stuff around here, I think. But well, Kathi, I have to tell you, National Soup Day is my birthday next week. Yep. So we're going to fast track this episode. We're going to get it. Yeah, these episodes usually come out on Wednesdays. That'll be the day after, but still. In the spirit of my birthday, we need to get Kathi's soup, her Sabbath soup book and principle and teaching out there. Kathi, thank you so much. As always, you just do the best things for my heart and soul.
I've been so looking forward to this, and I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, friend, you know what to do. Go to those show notes. Rebecca's the best. You'll find all the stuff that we talked about, links, all the things. Go get this book, please. I think you will just love it. Make yourself some soup. Check out AllMomDoes, AllMomDoes.com, AllMomDoes on the socials, and I love to see you too. I'm Julie Lyles Carr, all the places, but primarily hang out over on the Instagram. Grab this link. That's the best thank you can give us. Grab the link, send it to somebody, send it to a friend, send it to another friend, send it to another friend. We all need a little more soup in our lives. And I'll see you next time here on the AllMomDoes podcast.